Hobos and tramps, cross-eyed mosquitoes and bow-legged ants, admission is free, y'all pay at the door. Pull up a chair and sit on the floor. Welcome now, children, grandchildren, great-granny. It's time for the world-famous Hartland Hootenanny. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Crow's Nest here at Hartland Studios on Heartland in East Nashville, Tennessee, USA. I'm Ketch, Secor, World Pro Medicine Show, and you're watching a brand new show, which already happens to be the most exciting hour of live stream entertainment you've ever seen from one man, one banjo, and one Victrola under quarantine. Yes, it's been since Maniable Rock's transformation to Fanny Bryce that you've seen a program this profoundly wholesome, yet haphazardly slipshod, and it is with a buffalo jump of sincerity that I welcome each of you to the broadcast. Our special guest on the Hartland Hootenanny tonight is the one and only Charlie Worsham. How about that? Such a voluminous offering of songs and merriment are bound your way with a vehement vigor of girl cream-like dependability. Yet these are harrowing times, so we offer you this hour with an empathetic heart. Well, as there's no time like the present, let's fire up our fuse and boogaloo our blues. I'm a one-man old crow who's about to start crowing, you hear? It's the Hartland Hootenanny. Ah! Oh, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. 8 dogs, 8 banjos, 8 dogs, ha ha, 8 banjos. Tell me what you need in the whole wide world. Tell me what you need, my pretty little girl. 8 dogs, 8 banjos, hot coffee, sweet tea, hot coffee, Lord, sweet tea. Tell me what you need in the whole wide world. Tell me what you need, my pretty little girl. Hot coffee, sweet tea. Now listen. COVID-19, COVID-19. I'm stuck at home on Saturday night, 6 feet away from holding you tight. Nuts to that COVID-19. Oh, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big Saturday night. We're so glad you're here with us. Whew. God, isn't this a great setup here at Hartland Studios? Let me show you around the place. This is my record player. This is my Del McCurry bobblehead. This is my great big and this is my map of New Hampshire. Now this is my desk, you know, where I keep my whiskey. Now last week, my desk was where I kept my apple juice because of restrictions at my favorite spirits purveyor, Weiss's Liquor Store on Gallatin Road, even though they got a big sign on the door saying they wipe down after every purchase. There's just something about that word, wipe, that doesn't inspire even a liquor store level of confidence. Thankfully, Mr. Weiss and company down at Weiss's Liquor have started a parking lot delivery curbside service that I know my fellow East Nashvillians are going to want to take advantage of. Anyway, all this is to say that last week my whiskey was apple juice, but this week my whiskey is whiskey again. Thanks especially to my friends at Twin Creeks Distillery of Franklin County, Virginia. God, you can mail just about anything. I need to figure out how to get on the Skull Bandits mailing list. Anyway, now that I get my whiskey in the mailbox, I might never come out of quarantine. Reminds me of a song. I'm gonna wrap myself in paper. I'm gonna daub myself with glue. Stick some stamps on the top of my head. I'm gonna mail myself to you. Think about it. When you see me in your mailbox, cut the strings and let me out. Pour me full of Twin Creeks Distillery barrel-aged corn whiskey. Put some Skull Bandits in my mouth. I'm gonna wrap myself in paper. I'm gonna daub myself with glue. Stick some stamps on the top of my head. I'm gonna mail myself to you. Aha. You like that one? That's a Woody Guthrie's children's song right there. Probably written for little Arlo. When Woody sings it, it goes, pour me full of ice cream soda, put some bubblegum in my mouth. Now that I think of it, my band is often supplying questionable lyrics to impressionable minds. Here's a quick new segment I'm calling Top 5 Old Crow Songs which children should probably not be singing on the playground if they ever open back up the playgrounds. Okay, here it goes. Number 5, Humdinger. Mommy, what does passed out on a mound of fire ants mean? Number 4, tell it to me. Mommy, Why is the singer still taking the cocaine if the doctor says it's going to kill him? Number 3. Mommy, if he loves the girl so much, why did he shoot her down? Number 2. Mommy. Methamphetamine, number 2. Mommy, what's a meth head? And the number 1 Old Crow song which children probably should not be singing on the playground if they ever open back up the playground is Cocaine Habit. Mommy, what is dope? And also, Mommy, when I'm 5, will I be old enough to take a whiff on me? Well, the cocaine habit is mighty bad. It's the worst old habit that I ever had. Come on, hey, hey, honey, take a whiff on me. God, now take a whiff on me, take a whiff on me. All of you rounders, take a whiff on me. Hey, hey, honey, take a whiff on me. Well, I went to Mr. Demos in a lope. They got a sign on the window said no more dope. Hey, hey, honey, take a whiff on me. Got to take a whiff on me. You take a whiff on me. All you round to take a whiff on me. Hey, hey, honey, take a whiff on me. Now listen. Well, I went to Weiss's liquor store on Gallatin Pike. They got a sign on the window says, don't worry, we'll wipe. Hey, hey, honey, take a whiff on me. Oh, that's nasty stuff, kids. Please don't sing that on the playground. Well, it's Saturday night and the Hartland Hootenanny's in the house tonight. We're beaming out there loud and proud, and we're keeping the blues at bay on your Saturday night of isolation. But if your blues are like mine, you just gotta sing about them. Come on. What else are you gonna do? You talk about your woman. I wish to God you could see mine. You talk about your woman. Ooh, I wish to God you could see mine. 'Cause when that little gal starts loving, ooh, she brings eyesight to the blind. Lord, her daddy must have been a millionaire. Ooh, I can tell by the way she walks. Her daddy must have been a millionaire. Lord, I can tell by the way she walks. Yeah. Every time she starts loving, Lord, the deaf and dumb begin to talk. Yeah, that's the truth now. Come to think of it, don't you imagine the blind are probably pretty good at adapting to staying home during the COVID-19 crisis? Now, of course, many of you have already heard, here I'm going to bring you over to the desk. Many of you have already heard of the story of the Old Crow Medicine Joe's chance encounter with the great musician Doc Watson. But Doc is not the only amazing blind person who we met back in the early days of our living in those crooked mountains of Avery County, North Carolina. And that brings us to our next segment, our Northwesternmost North Carolina report. Yes, Doc wasn't the only blind man in Northwesternmost North Carolina with a life lesson for the Old Crows. There was also Arlie. No, not Arlo, Arlie. Arlie Presnell, y'all. Actually, Yunes. Yunes is what I should say to be correct, because they don't say y'all in the hills of Northwesternmost North Carolina. They say Yunes. Anyhow, Yunes. Arlie must have been about 90 when I started visiting him at his cabin on the backside of Beech Mountain. He lived so far back in the woods that you had to walk in about a quarter of a mile from the meat camp road. Now I probably ought to pause there and just let that sink in, because yes, I just said meat camp. And it should come as no surprise that the meat camp road connects the little town of Kellersville to the even littler town of Meat Camp, North Carolina, unincorporated, where Arlie Presnell's house was. And once you got to the house, and I'm using that word house in the loosest of terms, because more than a house, Arlie Presnell lived in and among a series of connected sheds, shacks, and outbuildings. Now, I'm also using that word connected in the loosest of terms because what connected the various parts of the greater house complex was a series of ropes strung between each structure. Ropes which Arlie, who I mentioned was blind, would follow to access the various stations of his woodland home. In this manner, Arlie Presnell's home territory was more like that of a squirrel than that of a man. And Arlie's hairstyle helped to further blur the lines between man and squirrel, for he had a long and matted tuft of wild white hair that sprung up from a black-stained red kerchief tied Indian style around his forehead. Now, I could go on for hours about Arlie Presnell, but it's Saturday night on the Hootenanny, and I'd like to sing you a song now. One I first heard Arlie Presnell sing back in 1999, sitting inside his little squirrel nest in Meat Camp, North Carolina, up in the northwesternmost corner of the state. Now, where he taught it to me is an interesting side story. Now, Arlie kept a fire going even in the summer, and when I asked if he wouldn't mind singing for me, as he was known in the area to be an accomplished amateur singer, he turned to the little tin stove in the center of the main room of his nest and looked to the stove as if the sound of its crackle was something of a request. He evidently didn't like the request because he then opened the stove with his headscarf, dropped in a handful of wood scraps, and then the blind man proceeded to pour gasoline from a 2-gallon gas can directly over the open flame. Then he spit 2 long tobacco juice squirts, and he began to sing. Away by the water so blue, the ladies were winding their way, while Pharaoh's little daughter went down to the water to bathe in the cool of the day. Before it was dark, she opened the ark and found the sweet infant was there. Before it was dark, she opened the ark and found the sweet infant was there. And away by the water so blue, the infant was lonely and sad. She took him in pity and thought him so pretty, and it made little Moses so glad. She called him her own, her beautiful son, and she sent for a nurse who was near. She called him her own, her beautiful son, and she sent for a nurse who was near. Ah, little Moses, a good song for the Passover season. Oh, little Moses, someday you'll be a great leader. Other Passover songs, I'm trying to think back to my pre-K days at the New Orleans Jewish Community Center on St. Charles Street, but I'm drawing a blank. Oh, how about a song about the blood of the Lamb? If the Garden District JCC taught this Gentile anything, it's that the Passover season has a lot to do with lamb's blood. And since tomorrow's the Sabbath, Yunes, I'll sing this one for you, which I learned from a 1927 Brunswick recording by Benjamin Franklin Welling and John Leftridge McGee, that long-forgotten old-time duo on guitar and harmonica from the bustling burg of Huntington, West by God, Virginia, who live again here on the Hartland Hootenanny. There's a free-floating mountain for the soul unclean. Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Where the Pharaoh's armies let God's children free. Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you washed in the blood, in the soul-cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Ah, the Passover season here on the Hartland Hootenanny. Oh, you know what that sound means, folks. It's time for, once again, that special segment on the Hartland Hootenanny that we call News on Parade. Yes, it's News on Parade time, where the Hartland Hootenanny investigates what's going on in the hearts and in the minds of the Old Crow Medicine Show, America's sweethearts. It's also the time when we open up the Pan-American mailbag and we read your correspondence. But first, the top news item for Old Crow today is an exciting new song and video we're proud to debut here on the Hootenanny tonight. If it works, y'all. Yuns. Now, don't touch the dial because we're about to show you a world premiere video. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, like Kurt Loder style, like way on back. Now, in a rare instance, some weeks back, the United Nations reached out across the globe to creative types, to artists and writers, and even old-time string bands like Old Crow, asking for new, original, coronavirus-related content celebrating timely, topical themes like containment, self-isolation, cleanliness, and social distancing. Well, let me tell you, having first visited the United Nations the year I turned 12, making it the premier destination on my first ever solo New York City subway ride, getting a call for submissions from the UN has been a pretty big thrill, Yuns. But the challenge, of course, is how to create new works by Old Crow Medicine Show while under quarantine. So, we dusted off a rarely heard studio outtake, wrote new verses, remotely sang new lead and harmony vocals, and got our pal Taylor Rushing to draw and animate a beautiful video. So, let me get out the old Compy 2000 now. I'm gonna put my typewriter away, because this video is technologically sound. Here it goes, folks. If my technological pursuits are right. Let me put my Twin Creek Distillery whiskey away. Oh, I'm so nervous. Here goes the worldwide debut of the latest Old Crow quarantine tune hit, the UN Medicine Man, here on the Heartland.
I got a mountain to move and it's an uphill climb. But all I need to use is my head and these blues will be far behind. 'Cause I'm the UN medicine man. I need you to help me stop the spread. I got the will to survive, that's why I stay inside and keep my hands to myself. And then I quarantine because it gets me clean and safe from anyone else. See, I'm the UN medicine man. I need you to help me stop the spread. Woo. Y'all keep it real clean out there around the world. I'm just doing my job, trying to curb a disease. That's why I'm singing this song. And we're depending on you to join and help us get through until after it's gone. We got a job to do, we got a mountain to move, and it's gonna take nerve. And if we're gonna get through, we're counting on you to help flatten the curve. 'Cause I'm the UN medicine man. I need you to help me stop the spread. See, I'm the UN medicine man. Everybody help and do what you can. Woo.
How about that? Hey, thanks go out again for the witty design and illustration from the ink and quill of Taylor Rushing for his help in creating our new UN Medicine Man video. You can learn more about Old Crow Medicine Show by following us on Facebook, on Instagram and Twitter, or by going to our website, www.crowmedicine.com. You can also like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell. Well, before we go and end the News on Parade segment, I think we should go ahead and take a peek into the Pan American mailbag here on the Hartland Hootenanny. That wonderful time when we read through your cards and letters and hear from some of the folks who love the Hootenanny best of all. Well, really, there's been a lot of cards and letters here, so I'm going to read just a few here for you. The Art of La Pierre says, 2 turkey emojis. Gobble gobble, Art of La Pierre. Chester Copperpot says, peace from Mendocino. Emma Lanier says, this is the best thing ever. I'm so happy right now. Thanks, Emma. Nacho San Luis says, in my country, it's 3 o'clock. I'm drinking my homemade moonshine and listening to Ketch, and I couldn't be happier. Ah. Here's to ya. In my country, it's 7:45, and I'm so glad that my country is connected to your country. Now, let's see. I've also got a couple more here that I wrote out by hand. Now, hold on. Oh, I know. Razmataz97 writes, blue heart, yellow heart, purple heart, applause emoji, sign of prayer emoji. Thanks, Razmataz97. There's Abbott_3 writes, love these guys, where's Critter? Cascade of hearts emoji, Kramer GIF. Slim_Jim_Snap-In215 writes, at Tom R. Bailey 98, dude, check this out, smiley face, hang loose emoji. And a couple other messages here. We've got folks listening in from Blackstock, Ontario, Canada, from Colchester County in Nova Scotia, Canada's ocean playground, y'all. Come on, it's not going to be too long before it's lobster season and the tourists arrive in droves on the boat to Yarmouth. Elizabeth Jaron says, aloha from Maui, aloha. Christian Gonzert says, hello from Ribeirão Preto in Brazil. And it's an exciting time because after spending much of the week digging through literally thousands of envelopes, cards, and even some small care packages from you, the fans from around the world, we have proudly selected our Hartland Hootenanny Letter of the Week. Now come on over here. Look up here in the crow's nest what I found. Come on back. All right. We got actual fan mail, y'all. Let's read one. This one looks like it comes from Jenny Starr of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. Jenny writes, hello, Ketch, long-time listener, first-time writer. I'm reaching out because I have toured after your band for the better part of a decade, but I've never been lucky enough to hear my favorite Old Crow song performed live. I was wondering if you feel so inclined, would you mind playing Highway Halo on a future episode of the Hartland Hootenanny? You know, something a little low and slow for another Saturday night spent indoors. I appreciate you, and I hope you and yours are doing as well as possible. All things considered, most sincerely, Jenny Starr of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. Jenny, I would love to sing that song for you, and I promise I'll do it for you on a future episode of the Hartland Hootenanny. Now here's one from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Ketch, thanks for throwing a great Saturday night Hootenanny tonight. You're a modern day Mick Jagger. Thanks, mate. And as you bone around your tiny studio, it's actually quite spacious, lad. Thanks also for honoring John Prine this week. His death will certainly only spread his incredible music to generations to come. Ain't that the truth? God bless you and God bless him. And one more, folks. Let's see what this gal has got to say. Whoa. This is from Linda with some incredible handwriting. Just take a look at how beautiful Linda makes the flourishes here. Thank you for being like a jolt of fiery whiskey on a cold Minnesota night by our campfire ring. Did you write this letter outside by an open fire? I can practically taste the wood of a decently clean barn floor. Damn, girl. Well, I know that Linda is cutting a rug. I can't wait. And now, if you get a chance to write to the Hartland Hootenanny, you won't be disappointed. Before we go on to give you out our address, I want to say a big hello to Lyndon, whose parents say he'll be born soon. Wow, Lyndon, this is not apple juice, but yours should be. All right. Now, if you want to write to the Hartland Hootenanny. It's easy, and with quarantine providing you ample time for activities such as letter writing and stamp ordering and envelope licking and disinfecting after your mail carrier visits your porch, then please mail your letters to the Hartland Hootenanny. In care of Old Crow Medicine Show's Heartland Studios, 711 Hart Lane, Nashville, Tennessee, 37216. Don't have time to disinfect on your way to the post office? Stay home and correspond with the Hartland Hootenanny on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Oh, and one more special announcement before we move on to our next segment. Are you looking for the perfect work-from-home attire? Are you a fan of Old Crow Medicine Show? Do you wear size small, medium, large, extra large, or extra, extra large? Are you bothering to get dressed at all during quarantine? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you're going to love the merchandise items we have on sale on our website right now. Damn, Yuns, we're practically giving it away, folks. So, to be clear, we're offering a special reward to the Hootenanny's loyalist listeners. Mention the code Hootenanny when you purchase shirts, hats, or posters from the OCMS website, and you'll get 20% off of any purchase of $20 or more. Oh, the auctioneer in me is ready to rock. How about a couple of tunes before we go to our special guest? Oh man, it's Saturday night. I'm just so glad to be with you. Come on over here to the record bin. Don't you love this place?
South band cruising with a half pound, blue lights spinning round, better put my hammer down. Dirt road, Tennessee, ain't nobody stopping this short run state line, gotta keep on making time. Alabama high test, the hook paint, cocaine, playing chicken with a train, smack dab, bed lab, metal out in rehab, hook a set, cigarette, I need no more regret, give me some down home, Dixie fried homegrown, Alabama high test, give it to me, Alabama high test. Alabama hot test. All right, here we go now. All the while you've been stepping out, somebody been easing in. Every time you paint the town, drunk on women and gin. Work your hoe to the head and you run with the hound. Somebody tearing your doghouse down. All the while you've been stepping out, somebody been easing in. Well, the dirty butter you've been eating, greasing up the people that you've been meeting. Already know like a thief in the night. Some big around, I'm gonna steal your wife. Well, I saw you creeping around the bend. I just thought I should warn you, friend. All the way you've been stepping out, somebody been easing in, yeah. All the way you've been stepping out, somebody been easing in. Every time you paint the town, drunk on women and gin. Well, you hold to the hair and you hold to the hound. Somebody tearing your doghouse down. All the way you've been standing out, somebody been easing in. Oh, Saturday night on the Heartland Hootenanny. So glad to be with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I want to thank all the hardworking Americans because it's almost time for our social distancing square dance, folks. But before we get out on the dance floor, we need to take a moment on the Hootenanny to offer a serious note of love, thanks, and gratitude to some folks who couldn't tune in tonight because they're so busy working hard to keep our country carrying on. So, special thanks tonight from all of us on the Hootenanny to all of you. Special thanks to bank tellers, traffic cops, farm laborers, truck drivers, line workers and poultry and meat processing plants, first responders, everybody at the TSA, healthcare workers, doctors and nurses and surgeons, scientists working for a cure, nursing home workers, hospice care assistants, and civic leaders helping our cities, states, and counties remain functioning. Thank you, all of you who are doing something for others in need at this time. We salute you. God bless the working man and woman just like me, out there on the front lines of this COVID-19 to keep on working. As long as their two hands are fit to use,
They might drink a little beer in a tavern if they can find one that's open, or find one that delivers curbside, like Weiss's Liquor on Gallatin Road. And they can order up something smooth, refreshing, and salubrious, a delicious libation that can wet their whistle and help them get back to that hard-working job. All right, folks, it's time for our social distancing square dance now. Hold on to the one you love, but stay 6 feet apart now. That's right, hey riders, it's time for the Hartland Hootenanny's social distancing square dance. I just want to bring in a log now. You know what I'm saying? I want to pull up a log and lay one on you. No, seriously, y'all. Let's really log on, folks. Seriously, it's time that I pull out a log that is an actual log. A log that helps me get into the spirit of the dance. Oh, listen to it roll. Now, this is a log from a tree felled during the Super Tuesday tornado here in East Nashville, and it seems to have some sort of white lightning juju put into it, folks, because wait till you see what it does for your dance steps all around the world. In Riga, Latvia, they're listening. Here we go! Grab your partner! From a space of roughly 6 feet, and hold on tight. Woo! Fellas, don't let her out of your sight. Just don't touch her, all right? Fellas, it's a buck dancer's choice. Ladies, just be sure you choose plenty of space between you and your man. Oh, dance around your log at home. It's time to burn the barn down. Thanks to all our dancers out there. Everyone who's been cutting a rug at home during this week's thrilling edition of the Hartland Hootenanny's Social Distancing Square Dance. All right, I'm going to send it off out there into... So long, log. See you again next week for another edition of the Hartland Hootenanny. All right, folks. Well, let's get all wound up because it's time to bring out our very special guest. That's what this sound means. All right, folks, because this is going to be a special Saturday night. This segment on the Hartland Hootenanny means that there's a wonderful bit that I like to call Brighten Up Your Quarantine with the radiant hues of tonight's very special guest star. Now, folks, the celestial orbit is particularly well illuminated tonight by none other than Nashville's favorite Magnolia State transplant, the pride of Grenada, Mississippi. They call him King Cotton on the guitar, and he's pure poison with a fountain pen. So, let's bring in singer, songwriter, shredder, old crow, resuscitator, Charlie Worsham. Let's see if we did it, folks. Did we do it?
Oh! Well, hello there, Ketch. You caught me reading up on my vinyl liner notes.
Charlie, look at you. I thought that was a flushing sound. I thought maybe I caught you in an inopportune moment.
Oh, no, I have a flushing sound, but that was applause. Here's the flushing sound.
Oh! My mistake. I'm so glad you're here to shamelessly help us promote our latest album.
Well, you know what I've discovered, Ketch, and this is no joke. I'm not just doing this because there might be a reason to plug a record. I've noticed in quarantine there's quite the opportunity to catch up on your listening pleasure. And for me and my wife, Kristen, we prefer the vinyl, as this represents. But whether you're listening on vinyl or you're beaming it in from a satellite on a streaming network like Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon Music, whatever YouTube, whatever you want to listen on, let me tell you something I've discovered. In the absence of the opportunity to spend time with your friends and absolute strangers at a concert, the next best thing is a live recording. The sound of applause resonating from a beautiful room from live music is the greatest sound I've heard since I've been stuck at home. And one of our favorite records to spin at home in the Worsham household is this Old Crow Medicine Show live at the Ramen. You might have not even known this, but Miss Margot Price guests on this beautiful piece of wax right here that's been pressed for your listening pleasure. And I'm sure you can probably check it out online, get something mail ordered to you. Just say.
That was an amazing plug. Thanks, Charlie Worsham.
Hey, I mean it, Ketch. I'm not even joking, man. And it's not just because I appear on this, and every time one of these sells, I get a like on Instagram.
I'll send you a nickel.
Yeah.
But before I start paying you off, would you mind playing a song for all the folks listening out around the world on the Hartland Hootenanny and in parts of Indiana tonight?
Well, I would love to, Ketch, and I miss you so much, my friend. I miss you as a stage brother, and I can't wait till this is all over and we can get out there and resin up the bow and tune up the strings again. In the meantime, I'm going to sing a song that has a new meaning for me because my wife and I, we've been out in the yard quite a bit with all this extra free time on our hands, and I understand the beauty and the torture that it is keeping a garden. And that's what this is about. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Got me a little garden, been digging in the dirt. Ain't easy on my back. It's hard but honest work. Takes a lot of patience just to make these babies grow. Ain't no way to reap what I don't sow. And there's things that I can't change. I can't tell it when to rain. I'm just tending my own corner of this world. And I could be pushing up daisies. I'm awful glad to be out here in the sun pulling weeds. Trying to kick the habit, looking over my neighbor's fence, trying to pick the greener grass. That don't make a lick of sense. That toxic way of thinking don't give me room to breathe. So I'm up here in my head pulling weeds. And there's things that I can't change. I can't tell it when to rain. I'm just tending my own corner of this world. And I could be pushing up daisies. I'm awful glad to be out here in the sun pulling weeds. Take it, Charlie. Yeah, there's things that I can't change. I can't tell it when to rain. I'm just tending my own corner of this world. I could be pushing up daisies. I'm awful glad to be out here in the sun pulling weeds. It's all in God's hand once I plant the seed. But I'm out here in the sun pulling weeds. One more time. There we go. Woo! Woo! Hadn't played that fast in about a week and a half.
I could just picture you out there on your hands and your knees there with just pulling them up there, making sure
pulling
that
those weeds out of the ground, man. Weeds are stubborn.
Try a hoe sometime. That really helps.
That's a good idea right there, Ketch.
I'm so glad you're with us. I love getting to hear you again. I can't tell you how much I've missed you, Charlie. It's just been way too long, and we haven't hardly got to play music together, let alone hang out together in the past several days. So I'm months, weeks. And all the gigs that we've done together, and in these studio settings, and on the road, and in festivals, we've always found ourselves in great company with one another, you and me, right?
That's the truth, man. It's crazy how you bond when you're out on the road, and seeing a brand new crowd every night. And then, you know, some of my favorite memories being out on the road with y'all this past year has been sitting up in the front lounge of the bus, Ketch, and having a questionable beverage and listening to some good old time music or new time old time music, and being educated by you, and hearing some of your life story, or some of the music that inspired you along your way. I cherish that, I miss that, and I can't wait to get it back and hear more new old songs.
Well, I feel the same way too, Charlie Worsham, and though I've never had the opportunity to conduct an interview with you, I want to tread lightly here and offer all due respect, and be sure not to ask anything that you're uncomfortable with answering.
Come on, I'm from Mississippi, Ketch, and everybody knows it. So there's not much you could ask me that would embarrass me.
Okay, that's
Mom?
That's cool. I just want to give you a heads up and say this is a safe space for you to talk about anything you like. And of course, if any of my questions make you at all uncomfortable, just say pass. Just say pass, okay?
That sounds fair to me.
Okay, all right. Let's be bold. Charlie
Here we go.
Worsham, what's your favorite filling in a calzone?
Ooh. This is not multiple choice. This is anything I could ask for.
Pick your filling choice, calzone lovers.
Ooh. Cheese whiz.
Very good. What would be your ideal quarantine snack food?
Hang on. It's the chips, the voodoo chips. You know what I'm talking about?
Zaps. You talking about Zaps brand voodoo chips?
Zaps voodoo chips. I just want a bag that I can jump into.
I get awful thirsty when I eat them Zaps. All right, here's a good one. Who is your dream celebrity quarantine roommate, with or without privileges? You decide.
Seth Rogen. I've got my dream quarantine buddy and my wife, Kristen. But if we're just talking about somebody to hang out with, it'd be me and you and Seth Rogen. I think the three of us could have a good time.
I'll give that some long thought on a lonesome night. Jay Bailey is writing in and asking, where did Charlie get that shirt?
This shirt right here? Well, if you know, you know. This is the quote of the rooster in the old, forgive my poison ivy. We've been doing a lot of yard work, you see. The garden song, all that. But this is a shirt that references the Disney movie for Robin Hood, and the character that narrates it is this rooster right here. And that rooster happened to be voiced by the great Roger Miller. Oh, lottie, oh, lottie, golly, what a day. And Not in Nottingham. And so many, the deep, 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 anyway, Whistle Stop, that's what that one's called. Anyway, this is a little Mr. Roger Miller that I'm representing on my cotton threads.
And one of my most favorite Disney films of all time. Charlie, now I've got a two-part question for you, and it's important one here. Your favorite brand of bar and liquid soaps?
Liquid soap, I would have to go with Dial.
Nice antibiotic choice. How about your favorite bar soap, Charlie Worsham?
There's a green soap they sell down at the turnip truck in East Nashville. It's an Indian soap, and Ayurvedic soap, I believe it's green, and it's real strong, and I like it.
I know the stuff you're talking about. All right. Here's another question for you. Besides this global pandemic, tell us what some of your favorite other global pandemics have been throughout history.
Well, You were singing about Baby Moses a little ways back. I wonder if when they had the crickets, or was it frogs? I don't know if that counts as a pandemic, but I'll put that one. If I'd have been around for a bunch of frogs just singing in my backyard, I know it had its downsides, but that seems pretty musical to me for a pandemic.
That's
of
a
course,
great Mississippi Delta answer right there, Charlie
and
Worsham.
if there
Thank
were
you.
ever a frying pandemic, I'd be on board.
The dude from Grenada says it's the frogs. Now, finally, what's the very first thing you're going to do when the quarantine lifts?
I'm going to go down to the Ryman Auditorium. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to just buy me a ticket to whatever show it is. I hope it's an Old Crow show and I can both be in the audience and then jump on stage, because I just want to experience some live music, and I can't think of nothing better. If the Ryman stays closed, I'm going to go to the Station Inn. I don't care who's on stage. I'm just going to go. That's what I miss the most.
Well, I sure want to hear some music at the Station Inn, the Ryman Auditorium. But tonight, Saturday night, lockdown and quarantine here at Heartland Studios, I want to hear the great Charlie Worsham sing us a song. Would you let her fly, buddy?
I'll let it fly there, Ketch. I'm going to sing you a song, because I know before I ever picked a note with Old Crow Medicine Show, y'all played on the world-famous stage of Merle Fest. And like Doc, those North Carolina memories. And I have a North Carolina memory. My first Merle Fest, I was still a kid. I was there with a couple of grown men I was playing in a bluegrass band with, and they made me the liquor mule. We snuck liquor in through security. And then I wrote a song about that and somehow tied it into getting married. And Willie Nelson, who we got to tour with last year on the Outlaws tour, and that was a lot of fun. So here's a little song called On the Road Again. Merle Fest 97, I was 11, must have been 9, baby, 10 rows back. Hit the breeze hitting me, Whiskey River tripping me, steady as a train on a track. I've been rocking along, I've been rambling ever since, with a red bandana song and my thumb stuck in the wind. I got a little green rolled up in my pocket, got a little diesel rolling around in the tank, got a little wind in the window down south of this old truck, more rust than paint. Sometimes I feel like a gypsy rolling down some broken white line dead end. I didn't know where I was going till your love came around the bend and got me singing along to On the Road Again. Mama tried her best, but I ended up a cowboy, falling for an angel flying too close to the ground. I guess that makes us poncho lifted, baby. What you say we blow this time? I got a little green rolled up in my pocket, got a little diesel rolling around in the tank, got a little wind in the window down south of this old truck, more rust and paint. Sometimes I feel like a gypsy rolling down some broken white line dead end. I didn't know where I was going till your love came around the bend. Got me singing along to On the Road Again. Here's to red-headed strangers, here's to blue eyes crying, here's to never dropping anchor and a taste of yesterday's wine. I got a little green rolled up in my pocket, got a little diesel rolling around in the tank, got a little wind in the window down south of this old truck, more rust and paint. Sometimes I feel like a gypsy rolling down some broken white line dead end. I didn't know where I was going till your love came around the bend. Got me singing along to On the Road Again. Oh, that's right, we can't wait to get on the road can't wait to get on the road again. Life I love is making music with my friends. I can't wait to get on the road again. With the Old Crow Medicine Show 2020 when the COVID-19 quarantine ends.
Yeah!
That's right, man. I missed you.
Oh,
Can't
Charlie,
wait to-
that sounded so good, man, and I can't wait to get on the road with you, and I'm so glad. Wasn't that wonderful, folks tuned in around the world? Thanks, Charlie, for that gorgeous tune, and we hope to see you real soon. Stay safe in your quarantine. Keep your hands clean. Don't touch your face. Any final parting words there, Charlie Worsham?
Just want to send my love and the good vibes I got to everybody out there listening, and I appreciate you so much, Ketch. Thanks for having me on the show.
Love you, Charlie Worsham.
Love
Bye-bye.
you
See
too,
you real
brother.
soon.
See you real soon, man.
Did we close them out? Let me see. Oh, that doesn't work on a typewriter. Oh, yeah, we got it. Okay. Hey, it's that wonderful time when we do our record of the week. So let's get over here to my most favorite record player, my Victrola, so that we can have some fun with our record of the week segment, the time of the Hootenanny, when we crank up the old Victrola. Pardon me, Mr. McCurry. Where we crank up the old Victrola just like Meemaw and Pawpaw used to do back on Saturday nights bygone. We're going to listen to it ragged but right, the sounds of yesteryear on the old-timey phonograph. Crank it up, fellers, and let her whine. What are we hearing tonight, y'all? It's time for some Roy Acuff here on the Hartland Hootenanny. Dance a while.
You promised me love that never would die. That promise you made was only a lie. Now after you've gone, all alone I'll pine. For all I've got is a worried mind.
Tell him, Roy.
I gave you a ring. I gave you a home. You promised me true that you never would roam. I bought you fine clothes and I bought you wine, but all you gave was a worried mind.
Oh, dance a little while longer on a Saturday night. All the folks are gathered around there, all Victrolas all around the world tonight, enjoying the Hartland Hootenanny's Record of the Week. Now, folks, it's time for the other record of the week. Now, I'm all for older technologies, but there's a whole lot of great music being made by artists today. And so in this segment, which I call the other record of the week, I'm celebrating some of my favorite current offerings from the Americana Music Files. So, let's get ready to rock. Let's see. I'm feeling the W's today. Here it is, folks. Tonight's no exception as we celebrate the great Americana duo, the Warren Treaty, with their 2018 breakout album produced by Buddy Miller called Healing Tide. Hey, while we're over here at the record bin, let me pull out this vinyl selection. Let's see what's looking good. Oh, it looks so good. All right, folks, a Healing Tide sounds pretty good to me. So let's hear what Michael and Tanya Trauger got to say here, if I can find the right spot on the needle. 1, 2, 3.
Hold me, baby. Hold me close. Cheek to cheek and nose to nose. Kiss me, darling. Kiss me right. Oh, if you do it good, we've been kissing all night. Girl, I've been looking for your kind of love all my life.
sounds so good to me. Thanks to the War and Treaty for that wonderful tune, The Healing Tide. Now the spirit of healing tides are welcome around the world right now. Lord, ain't that the truth? Another of the spirits that I'm celebrating is the spirit of live music that Charlie talked about. We're out here, we're musicians, and we miss the highways and byways, but most of all, we miss getting out there with you. The thing I guess I'm missing the most during this global pandemic is the celebration of live music. Well, we can't all get together today, but certainly tomorrow will be a better day. And when we do come together, I've identified the place that I hope will be Old Crow's first stop on our post-coronavirus tour. But first, let me tell you a little story along the way. Are you ready? Are you ready for a good story on a Saturday night? Are you all tuned in? Are you sitting in a comfortable chair? It's kind of a long story, so you might want to get comfortable. All right. Our story begins in a small town in western Kentucky. A town named after the natural features of the landscape. Back when a site's natural features rather than the names of politicians prevailed in bestowing a new name upon the land. It could have been a town named for a general or a European capital. It could have been a town named for a place in the Bible or after a Revolutionary War hero. But this particular town in western Kentucky revered its natural landscape above any other outside cause, and in celebration of the town's most prominent natural feature, simply called itself Beaver Dam. Now, Beaver Dam had an abundance of beavers, of water, of woods, and of dams. And all springtime long, children gathered to see the busy beavers padding their dams, and all was good. And soon a railroad came to Beaver Dam, and it brought mail and furniture and cast iron stoves and clothes from around the world. And the children that had played on the berm of that Beaver Dam now played in the dust that followed the mighty locomotives from Nashville and Louisville, places named not for their natural resources, but for the heroes of their day. And in the railroad dust, the children of Beaver Dam played, and all was good. And soon the railroad began picking up, and not just dropping off the goods from the big cities, but now it began to idle longer in the little clapboard station that the little town built, idling longer so that the train coaches could be filled with the natural resources of that region. With the timber that grew in the forests, and with the tobacco that grew in the fields, and with the whiskey made from the corn that grew in those same fields. And the children were glad that the train idled a little bit longer so that they could hear the great big railroad men talk just a little bit longer with their great big city voices from Louisville and from Nashville. And then one day the train idled even longer, and this time demanded not just what grew in the fields, but what lay beneath those fields. And the hard-working people of Beaver Dam took up their shovels and their picks, and they began to excavate the very ground beneath the town, digging in to reach the seams of anthracite, those bands of coal shimmering in their iridescence. And one day, when the train rolled through carrying the great big men with their great big city voices, it dropped off some very small men with very clean hands. Men whose voices were so smooth and refined, they sound like they came from the European capitals far over the sea. And in their small, clean hands, these men produced a contract and a fountain pen. And it was signed on that day in Beaver Dam, Kentucky. And soon the drag lines and the steam shovels began humming, and the coal tipple spouted out more and more of that iridescent jewel, and the children played beside it, running and jumping in the springtime of their youths, playing the day long until night came, and they noticed, strange, that their chests were sore, and they complained to their mothers and their fathers who understood, because their chests were sore too. And for everyone, it hurt on occasion to breathe. Oh, and then how the trains arrived. Every hour on the hour, another train came snaking through the town to pick up the black chunks and leave behind only the black dust, which pooled into drifts beside buildings and which seeped into the ground and into the water and into the dams and then into the beavers themselves. And those that were strong enough crawled away, and those that weren't lay on their backs and died under the bright Kentucky sun, harder to see now through the filmy haze of ash that hung over the town like a pall. And the land began to cave in on itself from the great swaths of rock that had been cut out from her middle, and houses and cattle and farms and children slipped into these great chasms and were lost forever. And soon all the coal that could be shoveled by men and mules and steam engines was gone, and now new machines rumbled into the town. Machines like moon rovers with tires taller than any building in the town. Machines that it took other machines simply to get a man inside of it. Machines to proficiently dig all the rest of that coal, extracting it from even the thinnest substrate. And the children stopped playing because they felt too sick, and the air made them feel worse, and their chests were tight with the particulates that drifted through the air, and they took sick. And some of them died just like the beavers had, with their bellies up to that great sun that struggled to shine through the haze that hung over the town of Beaver Dam, Kentucky. God, this is a sad story, right? But it gets better. Last summer, Old Crow Medicine Show booked a gig at a new amphitheater that had just opened up in a small town in Ohio County, Kentucky. Now, the town was so small that when the amphitheater was filled, it more than doubled the population of the town. It was an old timber town, and then it had turned into a coal mining town, and then it had turned into an economically depressed town. One of those little passed over places that I'd never really thought about until I was about 15 years old, and I listened to the song Paradise by John Prine. God, the night we played the Beaver Dams Amphitheater, I saw firsthand what it means to convert to renewable energy. After all the timber was cut out, after the tobacco market died, after coal ash had poisoned the water and the air, Beaver Dam, Kentucky turned to a renewable resource. It's people. It's music. It's unbridled children. And now the children play in Beaver Dam, Kentucky, and they dance in a green field while a string band plays an old square dance tune. They dance and they clap and they sing along and they spin and they twirl, and their smiles are bright. And when they whirl themselves into exhaustion, they lay on their backs with their bellies up to the stars, stars that seem to teem in the bright, clear sky. And they know that their town is a little slice of paradise, their very own, to dance and to dream in. When I was a child, my family would travel down to western Kentucky, where my parents were born. And there's a backwards old town that's often remembered so many times over that my memories are worn. And Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River, where
coal train has hauled it away. Now sometimes we travel right down the Green River to the abandoned old prison down by every hill, where the air smelled like snakes and we shoot with our pistols. Oh, but empty pop bottles was all we would kill. And Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking, 'cause Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. And then the coal company came with the world's largest shovel, and they tortured the timber and they leveled the land, and they dug for their coal till the earth was forsaken, and they wrote it all up as the progress of man. Oh, and Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking, 'cause Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. When I die, let my ashes float down the Green River. Let my soul rise on up to the Rochester Dam. I'll be halfway to heaven with paradise awaiting, just 5 miles away from wherever I am. And Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking, 'cause Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. Oh, man. God, how quickly time flies when you're having fun on the Hartland Hootenanny. Well, that's just about all the time we have for you here. And we want to thank tonight's guest star, Charlie Worsham. And I hope to see y'all again next Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, when our special guest will be none other than the Birds of Chicago. So get your requests ready for next Saturday night when the Hartland Hootenanny goes all Windy City with my friends JT Nero and Allison Russell, the Birds of Chicago. And until next week, keep following us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and go out and download Nashville Rising. Do it tonight, and we'll see you next week. Until we meet again, God bless, be safe, take care, wash your hands, don't touch your face, keep your distance, stay positive, optimistic, hopeful, healthy, cheerful, groovy, motivated, spirited. Oh, and by the way, so it's been good to know ya so long. It's been good to know ya so long. It's been good to know ya till we all find a cure. Let us go quarantine, say the folks from the CDC. Well, that COVID-19, it marched in like thunder. It covered us over, it covered us under, but our spirits were good, and we rose up each day and pitched in our part to keep everyone safe, singing so long. It's been good to know ya so long. Been good to know ya so long. It's been good to know ya that COVID-19 is against my hope, and I gotta keep drifting along. Ooh. All right now, folks, thanks for joining us on the Hartland Hootenanny tonight. Oh, we're about ready to get rolling now for our big closing number. Thanks again for joining us on the Hartland Hootenanny. We appreciate each and every one of you so much out there. Thanks for your years of love and support. The Old Crow Medicine Show know that without your steadfast friendship, we'd probably all be dead or at least in jail by now. So thanks for keeping us out of the clink and in the pink, folks. We love you. We really do. We also love tonight's guest star on the Hartland Hootenanny, the fabulous Charlie
Charlie Worsham. And we hope to get to share the stage with him and all the touring members of Old Crow Medicine Show very soon. And who else do we love on the Hartland Hootenanny tonight? We love John Prine. We love Roy Acuff and all the crazy Tennesseans. We love Wellington and McGee. We love Doc Watson, Arlo Woody, and Nora Guthrie. We love Arlie Presnell, Betty Lou Stansberry, Tab Ward, and all the gang from the Beach Creek community. We love the Carter family of Mason Springs, Virginia, Sarah, Maybell, and AP and their descendants. We love both of the Sonny Boy Williamsons. We love Michael and Tanya Trucker, The War and the Treaty. We love the pen of artist and illustrator Taylor Rushing and the corn whiskey purveying of Twin Creeks Distillery, licensed and bonded in Rocky Mountain, the Old Dominion. We love the cities of Huntington, West Virginia, Meat Camp, North Carolina, and Beaver Dams, Kentucky. That's all the time we have for you on the Hartland Hootenanny. But we'll see you next week. Until then, y'all stay safe. God bless. Take care. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Keep your distance. Stay positive, optimistic, hopeful, healthy, cheerful, groovy, motivated, untethered, wild, free, liberated. Good night, everybody from Nashville.